Following are few shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam and its commentary by Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point for all activities. Directly or indirectly, everything is related to fulfillment of sex desire. One cannot enter into the kingdom of Bhagwan unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. So first become free of all sins, then you can go to Golok Vrindavan Dham in a spiritual world, or Ayodhya Dham or Vaikuntha Dham, etc. The material sins are products of our desires to lord it over material nature. We are trying to enjoy everything of the world, and in that effort we are committing sins. Actually, Krishna is only enjoyer of world. We are his servants, but instead we are trying to be an enjoyer, and this is cause of all sins. It is very difficult to get rid of such desire. Women and wealth are very difficult problems for male devotee, making progress on the path to Godhead Krishna. For women, Maya appears in the form of man. Many loyal, sincere devotees, bhakt in the devotional line, fell victim to these allurements, and thus, instead of going forward on the path of mukti, they start moving toward nark, hell. But when one is helped by the Bhagwan himself, the whole process becomes very easy by the divine grace of the Krishna. To become restless in the contact of woman and wealth is not an astonishment, not surprising, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial. We are soul, and in each life we get male or female body, and then there is a progeny. We produce children, and it takes time to recover from this foreign nature attraction of woman and wealth. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Bhagwan, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of Krishna, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbance, and gradually all disturbing elements are removed from his mind. The main purpose of dharma is to awaken bhakti, knowledge and detachment. It is instructed that this material world is not actually the home of living being. The conditioned souls under material bondage are prisoners of matter, and therefore self-realization is the ultimate aim of life. The whole system of Varnashram Dharma is a means to detachment. It is essential that one practice self-control by celibacy without any desire of sex indulgence. For a man who is desiring to improve the condition of his existence, sex indulgence is considered suicidal or even worse. Therefore, to live apart from family life means to become self-controlled in regard to all sense desires, especially sex desires. The grossest type of unearth which binds the conditioned soul in material existence is sex desire, and this sex desire gradually develops in the union of the male and female. When the male and female are united, the sex desire is further increased by the accumulation of buildings, children, friends, relatives and wealth. When all these are acquired, the conditioned soul becomes overwhelmed by such entanglements, and the false sense of egoism or sense of myself and mine becomes prominent, and the sex desire expands to various political, social, altruistic, philanthropic, and many other unwanted engagements. The conditioned soul is encircled by such products as well as products of sex desire, which is summarized in three headings, namely profit, adoration, and distinction. So desire of profit, adoration, and distinction are because of sex desire. All conditioned souls are made after these different forms of sex desires, and one shall see for himself how much he has been freed from such material hankerings based primarily on the sex desire. As a person feels his hunger satisfied after eating each piece of foodstuff, he must similarly be able to see the degree to which he has been freed from sex desire. The sex desire is decreased along with its various forms by the process of Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti Yoga automatically, by the grace of the Krishna, effectively result in knowledge and renunciation, even if the devotee is not materially very well educated. Knowledge means knowing things as they are, and if by thinking a lot it is found that there are things which are at all unnecessarily, naturally the person who has acquired knowledge leaves aside such unwanted things. When conditioned soul finds by gaining knowledge that material things are unwanted things, he becomes detached from such unwanted things. This stage of knowledge is called vairagya, or detachment from unwanted things. The transcendentalist is required to be self-sufficient and should not beg from rich, blind persons to fulfill the bare necessities of life. Sukadeva Goswami has suggested to live very simply to fulfill the bare necessities of life, like the problems of eating, sleeping, and shelter. But he has suggested to tolerate sex desire because it is not necessity. You can live without sex. By the gradual process of devotional service, by bhakti, under the guidance of genuine Guru, and following the principles of Bhagavatam, one can control the gross sex desire. So purification means getting free gradually from sex desire.